Hey everyone, welcome back to Love Guitars in the Nashville Skyline. Last time, that was an exhausting episode. We thought you thought the Iraq War stuff was heavy. This time we got into racial and police politics. Man, this game has something to say about America, and I don't dislike it, cause it's not wrong. like these are issues we face, and they definitely should not be immune to criticism. But anyways, long story short, we're in Charlotte now. Amanda went to go retrieve Juliet's guitar that she left at the bar because she was so drunk. And then Amanda picked up a small child who ran away from boarding school and took her back to the hotel room. And I don't know what Amanda's plan's gonna be for Emmy, but I am curious to find out. So shall we?
平気。それより。
どうしたの？トイレならシャワー室の向かいにあるわよ。
そうじゃなくて、ベッド。
Oh, it's like Juliet, like, just sprawled out, like, half naked, murmuring weird things in her drunken sleep.
ああ、ごめん、連れがいるの言ってなかったわね。死んだみたいに眠ってるから、今夜はソファーで我慢してね。
She got the covers over her head, sound asleep. I doubt she even heard us come in. Curled up in the fetal position, Juliet's dead to the world. Just gazing at her back makes me want to crawl in bed and snuggle with her. I'll have to explain why Emmy's here when she wakes up. I don't think Juliet would be against her staying with us for a little while. In fact, Juliet has more experience being all on her own than I do, so she should be able to give Emmy better advice than I could, right? I feel optimistic about this for once.
それはいいけど。この
事情は明日私から説明する。それに、あなたに迷惑がかかるような人間じゃないから安心して。あと、一応女だし。
女の人？
そうよ。二人で旅をしてるの。明日ここを出たら81号線に乗ってワシントンの方へ向かうつもり。
I assume she means DC.
さあ、あなたも疲れたでしょ。おしゃべりは明日にして、今日はおやすみなさい。
名前は。
ああ、そういえば言ってなかったわね。私はアマンダ・エスリッチよ。こっちは明日本人から紹介させるわ。じゃあおやすみなさい、エミ。
Emmy's still shaken, but I do my best to soothe her and then turn off the lights. I'm certainly tired, but Emmy's been through a lot, and the fatigue is plain on her face. We have plenty to think about and plans to make, but we can deal with all that tomorrow. Besides, it'd be a good idea to ask Julia about what to do. I'm sure she'll have a better idea than I would. As my thoughts swirl around in the darkness, I start hearing the soft, deep breaths of sleep. It puts me a little more at ease knowing that Emmy was able to fall asleep so quickly. Maybe we can find a happy song for the fledgling chick who has fallen from her tree. Sleeping on the sofa reminds me of all the times I took naps at work while pulling all-nighters, and before long I fall into the same shallow sleep. Only in youth does coincidence seem the same as fate. Later, we know that the real course of our lives is decided within us. That's a quote from one of my favorite authors. For whatever reason, those words I read as a student have been burned into my mind. I assume that's a real quote. I wonder who the author is. I'll have to look it up. I didn't understand what it meant for the longest time, but I think this trip has helped me figure it out. The world is full of coincidences, but people choose their own fates. Every time you walk down the road, every time you turn on the TV, every time you sit down on your sofa, you're constantly being greeted by coincidences. It's just that people never notice most of these coincidences. When they do notice one, they just slap the label of fate onto it. Fate is just... Uh-oh. This doesn't sound good. Something that happens whether you want it to or not.
ねえ、いい加減だんまりはよしましょう。これからどうするかを考えないと。
さあね。とりあえず街を出よう。その警官とやらが騒いだら面倒だし。
I'm sure Charlotte's a big enough city to where the chances of you running into that same cop aren't that high.
やっぱり私。
その先は言わなくていいの。あなたも当然ついて。
Okay, so that is the plan. Juliet, please talk some sense into Amanda. This is kidnapping, like by the law.
会っちゃったもんは仕方ないし、ほっとくわけにもいかない。一緒に来な。
Why would I expect Juliet to know to knock any sense into Amanda? She wouldn't know any better. Are you kidding me? We're really gonna take this 13-year-old girl? Do we even know why she left the boarding school? Amanda, did you even ask her? Maybe she was just upset because she missed her parents. Yeah, I mean, clearly that's a part of it. She feels, abandoned by her parents. But maybe, I don't know, instead of taking her away, you could, ask her what she can do to feel more at home at her boarding school. And maybe try to take her back to the boarding school, advocate with her, or advocate for her to the person, to, the head of the school. Because clearly there's some weird disconnect. I mean... I don't agree with any of this.
ごめんなさい。
謝ることなんてないのよ。さあ、それ食べてしまいなさい。ちょっと足を伸ばすからしっかり食べておかないと。
This morning, I was shaken awake by an agitated Juliet. There was no good morning, no wake-up kiss. She just pointed at the sleeping Emmy and demanded an explanation. I didn't think she'd be so petty as to want to throw a runaway back on the street. Thinking she'd give in if she just knew the whole story, I told her in detail what had happened last night. The whole time she was knitting her brows and frowning, and when I was done, she let out a big, long sigh. And with that sigh, Emmy, still tired from the night before, woke up.
お姉ちゃん。
Yeah, she doesn't know Juliet's name, but I just heard the Japanese, she calls her One-chan, which makes sense, because she wouldn't know Juliet's name at this point.
聞いたよ。まさか大陸の反対側であんたに会うなんてね。
Oh shit, twist! Oh, it just hit me what's happening and who... Damn! This just got really interesting. Well, thank God for Amanda not being able to understand, kidnapping, because I think we just had a reuniting between sisters. Damn it, I'm so stupid. Emmy is Juliet's little sister. Actually, she's her half-sister from a different father. Their silence was telling. It was clear that they're not exactly close. I could only guess at what had happened between the two of them, but I told them, falsely, that checkout time was soon just so I could get them out of there. We left the motel and stopped at a cafe on the lakeshore to talk over breakfast. Like I said, they're only half-sisters. Juliet's parents got divorced when Juliet was about 6, and Emmy is a product of their mother's second marriage. In other words, Juliet became the other child within her mom's household. She and Emmy grew up together, but when Juliet graduated from high school, she took her guitar and left. And now, half a year later, her little sister has run away following in her footsteps. Their parents were abandoned by their kids one after the other. I can't speak for their parents, but I can't imagine that they're okay with this. I'm going to have to be careful in how I handle taking care of Emmy. Oh, really, Amanda, you're worried about her parents now, but before it was like, shh, clearly your parents had an awful reason for sending you to boarding school and I'm just going to kidnap you. But now, oh, maybe her parents, I should consider their feelings in all this. But what's really baffling is that these two sisters, both of whom have run away from home, are behaving so coldly toward each other. I wonder if Amanda has siblings. Has she mentioned that at all? I get the feeling she might be an only child. Juliet, who's usually so talkative, has barely said a word this whole time, and Emmy hasn't taken her eyes off of her. Most of our breakfast conversation has consisted of nothing but sighs. Even though Juliet isn't outright saying she wants Emmy to go away, she's still trying her best to ignore the poor girl. I can't let the three of us carry on like this, though. We head along I-77 to meet up with I-40 again, then drive north along I-81. Staring at the blue sky on the horizon, I look for anything to say to break the silence.
ここから1時間くらいでロアノークに着くわ。そこから先だと飛ばせばワシントンまで行ける。どうする?
You can clearly tell this wasn't written by someone who's American, because Amanda would be saying DC, not Washington. That's a totally different place.
任せる。私は別にどっちでもいいよ。
It's also a very spacious looking truck. Like, seriously, where's the ceiling in this thing?
ねえ、ジュリー、私たちは恋人よね。
Oh, yeah, I don't know if I'd throw that.
エミーに話してなかったわね。そういうことはまだ出会って一緒。
I don't know if maybe you should be divulging that information to Emmy.
そうなんだ。
Well, I guess maybe she doesn't really care much.
ええ、休暇になんとなく行ったナッシュビルで偶然ってわけ。それから一緒に旅をしてるの。で、話を戻すけど、ジュリー、私たちは恋人よね。
そうだけど、それが
とぼけないで。恋人って心の中を探り合ったり疑い合ったりするものなのかしらって聞いてるのよ。
別に隠し事なんてしてないじゃん。昨日の酒が残って頭痛いんだよね。
じゃあさっきの湖に放り込めばよかったかしら。ちゃんと目を見て話せるようにね。
わかんないでよ。気持ちの整理がついたらちゃんと話すよ。
そんなの待ってるうちにニューヨークにたどり着いてしまうわ。こんな調子で最後までなんて嫌よ。きちんと話しましょ
う。もうちょっと待って。私なりに頑張ってんだ。これでも今晩か明日にはきちんと話せるって約束する。お願いだからもう少しだけ待って。
Juliet's downcast face is like the face of a rescued kitten being thrown back out onto the streets a second time. I don't want to make things worse, and I'm afraid to say anything else. Right now, she seems like a mirage that will disappear if I get too close. Nothing seems to change as we slightly continue our journey. We stop in... I know how to pronounce that, but I can't remember. Roanoke, I think, to get lunch and buy Emmy a change of clothes before finding a motel to stay in for the night. I think the town symbol did help lighten the mood, though. It's the world's second biggest light-up star, the Mill Mountain Star.
でっかい。
世界最大のものはテキサスにあるらしいわ。けど
Of course it's in Texas. That's what I'd expect.
夜ライトがつくともっとすごいんだろうね。
もちろん夜にまた見に来ましょう。ちょうど街を見下ろせる場所だし、景色も素敵でしょうね。
いいね、楽しみ。
けどジュリー、あなた今夜の演奏は？
今日はいいや、なんだか気も散ってるし、このところ毎晩だったしね。それより今の私はさ、こんなでっかい星でも見て心を落ち着かせた方がいいと思わない？
ジュリー、
ちっぽけな悩みとか自分の心とか、そういうのがどうでもよくなれば。
I'm not sure. If you're not telling Amanda what it is. I mean, and you agreed to take Emmy with you too, so... Ugh. Hurry up and tell us. Looking up at the star propped up on the mountain, Juliet seems kind of sad, but she's smiling, trying with all her might not to let it show. She only lets that sadness show when she's on stage, but that's who she is at her core. Looking over at her smiling profile, I could see the strength and yearning that she puts into her songs. Juliet is aware of the storm of chaos and doubt that's clouding her mind. I know she's doing the best she can to overcome it. There, shaded by the clouds in front of the sun, the three of us smiled together for the first time. We leave the park and, at Emmy's request, return to the car to look for a Southern-style restaurant. Nighttime. After dinner, we check out the giant flashing neon star before returning to our motel. Without Juliet performing at a bar, the night seems to creep by at a crawl. We decide to get some beer, juice, and chips at a store before returning to our room to watch a movie on TV. The movie was boring, and maybe because the lights had been turned out, Juliet was fast asleep before I knew it. I pick her up as she dozes, transferring her to the bed, where I pull the sheets over her. She grumbled when I took my hand away, but her exhaustion won out. I come back to find that Emmy has changed channels. The news plays on TV as she leans her little body forward, engrossed. Oh no, don't let the child watch the news, that poison. And why do I feel like we're getting another cultural commentary?
私のことまさか出ないよね。あちこちで顔を見られてるけど。
To be fair, it's only been like less than a 24-hour period. So and listen, the news isn't going to necessarily be reporting a missing child's case in anyway. It might take a little time.
あなたの両親が大騒ぎしない限り、そんなことにはならないわ。
Amanda, what kind of parents wouldn't make a fuss? I mean, assuming that the boarding school has contacted them at this point, I don't know how this fucking works. This world we're in right now.
平気かな。アマンダ。
お酒ならダメよ。大人になるまではジュースで我慢なさい。
そうじゃなくて。ごめんね。私のせいで。何がおかしいの？
いえ、ジュリーと同じだと思って。うんざりするくらい繰り返しても、自分がこうだと思ったら絶対曲げないとこがね。
お姉ちゃんと。
でも私もそれなりに頑固よ。繰り返すけど謝るのはよしなさい。あなたが邪魔なら迷わず国道に放り出してるわ。
Amanda, don't even joke about that. This kid already has abandonment issues, clearly.
ジュリーだってそれは同じよ。迷ってはいるけど、あなたを受け入れようとあの子も必死なの。
Emmy still doesn't seem to have much confidence yet, but I do think she understands. She sits back down on the sofa and drains her cup of juice in a single gulp. Soon, she's got her gaze fixed on Julie's sleeping form. She really reminds me of how Julie and I were until recently. When she finally takes her eyes off of Juliet, she walks over to me and snuggles up to me, as though I was actually her big sister, and lets out a big sigh. I brush her little head reassuringly, and she looks on at the newscaster reporting on the various stories monotonously.
私が生まれた時、お姉ちゃんはすごく喜んでくれたんだって。私も赤ん坊の頃の記憶はお母さんよりお姉ちゃんの方が多いの。いつでもそばにいてくれて優しかったのを覚えてる。臆病だった私の手を取っていろんな場所に連れて行ってくれた。
あの子らしいわね。
うん。でもお父さんはお姉ちゃんのことが嫌いだったんだ。仕事ばっかりで家にはいないことが多かったんだけど、帰ってきてはお姉ちゃんと喧嘩ばかりしてた。お姉ちゃんが悪くなってからは口も聞いてなかったわ。
そう。お母さんは？
お母さんは何も言わないの。いつもお父さんの顔色を伺ってばっかりで、再婚でお父さんが厳しい人だから怒らせないようにってお母さんはいつも怯えてるの。
ジュリーを守ってくれる人が家にいなかったってことね。
うん。お姉ちゃんはたまに部屋で泣いてた。お父さんは何も分かってくれないって。お姉ちゃんが何をしてもお父さんは言うの。なぜそんなことをするんだって。お姉ちゃんが何を言ってもそれの繰り返しで、そのうちお姉ちゃんも家にいないことが多くなった。私には優しかったけど、街では怖い友達といつも一緒にいたの。
そう。
You can't just say something like, "Why are you doing that?" to a kid. He didn't get that. He couldn't see things from Juliet's perspective. Saying something like that to a kid is just going to stunt her growth and erode her confidence. Anyone would turn out bad if someone kept her locked away from the rest of the world. Is that what was implied to have happened? Juliet was from her mom's previous marriage, and if the one person who she considered family wouldn't stand up to her stepdad, it's no surprise that she tried to get away. Juliet tried to be a good sister to Emmy. I could only imagine how awful it must have been to show Emmy that side of herself.
あの子が家を出るまではずっとそんな調子で？
お父さんが家にいるときはお姉ちゃんは絶対にいなかった。お父さんは食事の時にあいつは見放したっていつも言ってた。お母さんはお姉ちゃんのことも怖がってたわ。お父さんがいない時、お姉ちゃんは女友達をいつも連れてきてたんだけど、みんな優しくていい人だったけどお母さんは怖がってた。お姉ちゃんの方はお母さんに呆れてたみたいだった。
多分その女の子たちが恋人だったからでしょうね。家はカトリック？
うん。あの人たちって。
ええ、ほとんどはジュリーの恋人だったんじゃないかしら。で、お父さんは厳格なカトリックの信者。カトリックには同性愛を嫌悪する人も多いわ。お父さんは理解することを最初から拒否してたんでしょうね。
そうなんだ。家には来なかったけど、お姉ちゃん外では男友達もたくさんいたから。
でしょうね。ねえエミ、 ありがとう。ジュリーのことをたくさん教えてくれて。あの子、辛いことを話したがらないから。
アマンダはお姉ちゃんの恋人だもん。大事な人だから。
あなたはなぜ家を？厳しすぎて辛かったから？
Last time we checked, Emmy said she left. She didn't have a choice. They sent her away, right? Which now confuses me, like why she wouldn't have enjoyed getting away, but at the same time, you still are attached to your parents regardless.
お姉ちゃんが出て行ってからお父さんはいつもイライラしてて、私にも当たり散らすことが多くなってた。なんだ、そしたらお父さんが全寮制ならサボることもできないだろうって気づいた時にはもう転校が決まって、無理やりここに連れてこられた。
Yeah, and that's really shitty. Like, it's good to consider your child's feelings on a subject, like sending them away to boarding school. Don't get me wrong. But considering it was such a shitty environment at home, I would think that might overshadow any kind of anxiety you'd have to be away from home, be away from such a toxic environment, you know? So Emmy, clear it up for me. What's the problem again about boarding school? When the focus of the story shifts to her, her voice and her body both begin to tremble, and she seems to become very anxious. It must have awoken frightful memories that she doesn't want to relive. With every word, she bows her head more and more, and I can see the unease and fear in her eyes as more and more details spill out of her mouth. But as she talks about those memories she had tucked away, she seems to become a little relaxed. Struggling through the fear, she continues to tell her story little by little.
いいのよ。あなたのしたことは正しいわ。私が保証する。
学校が嫌なんじゃないの。このままだと私、靴下の色までお父さんが気に入るか考えなきゃいけなくなると思って、あの家から逃げなきゃ、自分が自分でなくなるって思うと怖くて、それで。
わかったわ、エミ。もう怖がらなくていいの。辛いなら今晩はこれくらいにしておきなさい。一人で抱え込むのが辛くなったら私がいつでも話を聞くわ。
I take her by the shoulders and draw her into an embrace as she cries, trying to stifle her voice. I imagine that, with her sister sleeping nearby, she was afraid of breaking down until now. Parents should always have a say in their child's upbringing, but children have rights too. These two sisters exercised their rights to refuse things they didn't want, nothing more. But the world isn't as simple as that. Emmy in particular still isn't at an age where she can move out on her own yet. We took an unplanned detour on our trip, but now we should hurry to New York and figure out what to do. I'll ask Juliet when she calms down. But I know that she still has a cloud hanging over her. Juliet used to be such a good sister to Emmy. Why is she so reluctant to accept her now? Without an answer to that question, I hug Emmy close as she cries herself to sleep. Nothing like a little family drama to spice things up. Next time, we will head straight to New York. That sounds like the plan. Thanks as always for watching. And until next time, take care.